Good morning, everyone. I, on behalf of Institutions Innovation Council, Tripura University, would like to welcome you all to the session on accelerators and incubation opportunities for students and faculties, early stage entrepreneurs. Today, we have with us Dr. Shriparna Guha, Assistant Professor and Head of Department of Business Administration, Narula Institute of Technology, Agarpara, Kolkata. She has 7 years of research experience, including one PhD guidance, and she has also completed two research projects. She is the life member of National Institute of Personnel Management and Indian Society of Training and Development. I welcome you, madam. Over to you.
Thank you, and thank you, the organizer, for giving me the opportunity. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am,
Hello.
you are audible.
Okay, and ma'am, is the screen is visible?
Yes, it is visible.
Okay, thank you. So, thank you all for giving me the opportunity to share the ideas regarding the accelerators and the incubation opportunities for the student and the faculties in the early stage of the entrepreneur. So, nowadays, this in incubator incubation and the startup and this accelerator, these are very important issue specifically for the educational institution. And we know that from the students every day we are getting the different type of ideas, but there is one point that how to implement these ideas, that means the commerciality of this idea. So these institutions basically plays a linking role that to bring the ideas and transfer it into a feasible solution, and then it is delivered a particular type of product and the services that should be fulfill the demand of the society. So basically, the this is the important area of this incubation and the accelerator. So, for every institution, when we have to talk about this entrepreneurship, we have to differentiate the three concepts. The first one, the startup, the business incubation, incubator, and the accelerator. Now, the startup is typically applied to the young, innovative firms with an ambition to grow, often when operating under the conditions of significant uncertainty, such as an unproven technology or a new business model. So, for this entrepreneurship development, one factor is very common, or we all basically talked about that if we can afford this startup, so there may be the risk of the failure. So this is a very risky affair for the for this individual also. So this is the institution or the organization should develop or create an environment where the participants or these individual can share their ideas and get that, and they can obviously confident how to overcome all these problems. So this startup, we can divide the different phases of the startup. First of all, the pre-startup phase. It is the period in which the entrepreneur may have little more than an unproven ideas, and so the focus of the support is predominantly on the entrepreneur or founder to testing of the ideas. So that is basically the pre-startup. Then the startup phase, when they are obviously process, so they have one idea and they are basically moving towards to set up of their companies. And then these early stage of venture also they need certain market study, and they identify the target area where they basically get the profit or how to generate the profits. So for these different stages of the startup, different type of program also need to arrange, so that should cater or to fulfill the demand of this people. Some of the programs like to different successful entrepreneur to these institute and showcase that how they, what are the different type of business they are doing and what are the main threats, how they have to overcome this thing. So with this way they can it help them to motivate or stick on their ideas. Because what happened, we see that in the college or universities, the students have different ideas, and as they are the creative, so they are bringing lots of ideas, but it is very important to stick on to one idea. So here the teachers can play a very important role to give them the total how to develop the idea, and also give certain technology input that help them to stick or develop their idea. So these are basically the guideline of guiding the student. So different level of activities we can arrange for the startup. For example, the mentoring session or the sharing of the sharing stories of the successful entrepreneurs. Next, the business incubator. It is an established concept, and considering the incubation, it is an umbrella term and the range of different support activities. And when we talk about the incubator, so it is related with some physical spaces is required, and also certain flexibility in terms of time period for development of their ideas, and other facilities like the research like the laboratory facility or other the training for these individuals in their specialized area. Now, some of the characteristics of the incubator, that open-ended duration, that basically based on the stage of the company rather than the specific time frame. So, not specified with this particular time frame that you should be develop your ideas within 3 to 12 months or 2 to 10 months, like that. Rather than these incubators should be very flexible regarding the time period. And second one, that is obviously it focus on some physical space is required, and the incubator, there must be an incubator manager or the team of manager. They basically, what are the role basically they need to play. So time to time the different idea context need to be arranged, so student can, or not only within the organization or within the institute, these incubator can also receive the application from the surround or the society, the other the outside the institution also. So that is the one function. Also they can show the different type of funding agencies. So they, some person should be there who should look after all these activity. And this incubator, they have to, what is the advantage for this startup for using this incubator? Because the incubator will give the, they can charge the rent, but this is the much less than the market rate. And also they can get the continuous assistance from the expert of the different field in the organization. And in this incubator, they are not a cohort based, that means not the time based application. So the admission is continuous. So every time they have to, they obviously try to collect the ideas. For example, in this World Environment Day celebration, uh, some of the organizations conducted the idea regarding the from the student, that how to restore this environment with some using of the solar energy or reuse or recycle, and waste management and cost benefit, etc., all these area. So with these things, it is a continuous collection of the ideas, and then they have to categorize that how to develop these ideas to convert into a uh, meaningful end. So there is a different type of services they can provide. That is the mentorship is the main. Also the entrepreneur training with the help of the expert in the specific technology area or in the general management is also important, and certain technical facilities like the laboratory equipment. So the incubator also show that what are the laboratory facilities within their campus. So that also become the will help or make the other people understand. Yes, if I can apply with my idea in this incubator, so that may be a very positive environment. So there from the experts are sitting there. Also the lab facilities are there, and they have a good connection with the successful entrepreneur and the funding agencies. So there is a all the positive factors are there that help them for their growth. So these obviously the one of the important aspects of this success to establishing successful incubator. And obviously the selective admissions. Now the every incubator must establish certain the selection procedure that for how they have to collect these ideas. Then these ideas, there must be a group of experts. They have to evaluate these ideas, and after that every incubator they have to identify some of the thrust area, that which are the area they uh, want to explore, or they collect the ideas from this area. So on the basis of that they have to little bit selective regarding their admission procedure. Now uh, in contemporary we what we see that most of the major factors that make India appealing as a startup India, because the size of the domestic market, and also the skilled human capital, and there is a lots of opportunity of the doing business with the low cost. So these may be the important influential factor for the startup. Now these accelerators. Uh, These accelerators are a more recent phenomena than the incubator, and if we can contrast with this incubator, accelerators typically provide the services through a highly selective cohort-based program of a limited duration. So it is within 3 to 12 months. So this is the basic difference from the incubator and these accelerators. And they also provide certain services, like for examples for development of the business plan, and also the investor pitch test. So they can invite the investor in their institutions, and then there is on the other hand there are some successful there are some ideas, and so there is an opportunity. These they can show the ideas in front of the investors. Also they can get that what are the requirement of the investors, how to present the ideas in front of the investors. Also they can also give training on the how to prepare the prototypes, and also the market testing. Because in what we see that the students, they are the person, they have good ideas, but ultimately the student don't know how to develop the business plan. So business plan, that is, it is very important, because here it is linked with the sustainability of this particular product, and or that what is the demand of the market. So here it is the role of the accelerators, that with the particular type of assistance they have to give to them, so that they can prepare their business plan, and also they can prepare, they develop their prototypes, and other related area. Now in here we can see that what is the basic difference between these incubators and the accelerators. Now mm, we see that there are certain characteristics are important for the accelerators, and the certain characteristics for the incubators. For example, one first point is that in incubators we see the open-ended duration, and it is basically if any of the idea have been submitted for incubate, so incubator also some fee has to be charged for this idea for using their uh, space for the idea development. Also, the incubator provides certain technical facilities, and there is another important aspect of the survival of the incubator is that there must be a continuous rolling of the admissions. So, continuously they can receive the application for the ideas. On the other hand, we can see that the accelerators, there is a typical growth based, so that must be a code based area, and there must be a fixed duration. So but there is certain point which is common for the incubator and the accelerators. One is that the training, it is both for the incubator and the accelerators, mentoring both for the incubator and the accelerator, business support and the selective in ideas. But selective in ideas, it is not. It is little bit selective in case of incubator, but in case of higher degree, it is too much selective in case of accelerators. Now, here we can see the comparison of the business incubation types and their common features. So, in the features, we can see there is the investment, office or the workplace, different type of services included the mentoring, fixed duration, cohort based, and the selective. Selective in terms of the how to select the ideas, or selective they have to identify some of the thrust area that this is the suppose they want to develop the ideas related with the information technology area or the social entrepreneurship or related with the media or other computer related area. So or the electronics field. So these are the selective. So they this is or so they can select the different ideas on this trust area, and also they have to select by evaluating their idea that the prospect whether these are whether there is an applicability or feasibility of these ideas or not. On the other hand, there are the incubation type. One is the incubator, another is the accelerator, pre-accelerator, virtual incubator, and so on. So in incubator, we see there is no investment but required the official space, and also certain services where the incubator can provide. One is the mentoring, and also link up with the successful entrepreneurs or the training, and there is no fixed duration linked with this incubator. There is no cohort based, and yes, this is selective. They have to select the ideas which they want, these institution want to incubate under their incubator. Next one, the accelerator, that there is investment is required. Official place, it is yes. The services, obviously, the mentoring and the other services like the presentation of the idea in front of the investors, or the business model development canvas workshop, how to prepare the business model, and that is related with their business, related with their ideas, prepare to develop the prototype, and also to how to deliver the product to the market. So market analysis is also important area. Next, there is a fixed duration. So, if one product has been if one idea has been developed, idea has been selected, so then this will be put in one code that yes, suppose the idea is from the electronics area, then that's put in this electronics. There is a code that within 3 to 12 months they have to complete it, and then the selective, they have to select this area of the idea where they already identify their thrust area. So we see in case of accelerator, this indicates that it is a highly selective, and the pre-accelerator we can see that fixed duration it should be less than one. So in that way, we can see there is a difference with these different types of the incubations. Now, uh, if we can go through this definition given by Carol R., we see that incubator as a mother hen which help the new venture to hatch, grow, and live. In a similar way, a startup entrepreneur's business idea is incubated in incubation centers. Now, we all know that whenever we talk about the entrepreneurship, one concept is associated with that entrepreneurship is that risk. Therefore, the people is not eager to take the entrepreneurship as their career because they thought it is a very risky affair. But it is also very much required to break the myth and obviously but giving how to change the attitude of these people. Only it is possible to provide the information, and then they can change their belief and they develop certain uh, feeling with their ideas, and then they can show a very positive attitude to think about this startup. Therefore, this educational institution that we basically help these people, these students, to nurture their ideas, to develop a very positive environment where they can share their ideas and get the every facility in terms of their technology, in terms of the feasibility of the ideas, in terms of how to preparing their business plan, and so get the data how to deliver the product in the market. Sometimes they have a good idea, but only lacking thing is that they don't know how to implement this idea and what should be the price and who are their target customers. So very lack of knowledge regarding the customer identification, the need identification of the customer. So these also the important area of the training for the students. So that is the important function of this institution also that played by this incubator. So these incubator centers basically establish, and their goal is to help and nurture the young businessman by providing them the support and the financial and the technical services. What happened when we have to talk about this startup? First concept comes into our mind that the financial the source of the fund. It is true, but also it is important this the idea should be effective one. Effective means that should be linked with the problem of the society. And there may be certain idea which is very unique in nature. Okay. So it is very difficult to link this idea with what type of problem basically that's basically this idea actually solve, try able to solve. But there is some common idea that there is a common problem of the people in the society. So if the student can develop certain idea that can help, or that obviously the majority of the people can get benefit from this product or the services, so this become a huge success for their venture also. So here this type of support should be given by this incubation center for nurturing their ideas in terms of technological support, and then obviously identify the different source of the fund, that how this fund these are available, how to apply for this fund, and what should be the duration and what should be the format. So every type of information should be available in the incubator. So the people who are doing their development of the ideas, they can link with what are the particular fund is available and which is suitable for their development. So that is the important aspect, and the team of managers of the incubator basically identify all these different sources, that what are the funding agencies, what is the starting date, what is the ending date, what should be the format, and what should be the total amount, how to apply. And this is one area. Another also, there are the different idea competition, Olympics is there, international idea competitions are there. If the students obviously participate in different idea competition, so automatically they can perform, or they can get a platform where they can share their ideas with in front of the people, and they can get what are the defects of their idea, and also they can get the more data related to their problems. So this type of exposure also required, and this information, this collection of information is important for this incubator. The incubator with this all the information, like the funding agencies, one. Also the different innovation contest, and every innovation contest, this number of students should be there. Also time to time organize the different innovation, the idea competition with that obviously involve the student with their creativity, and then market that rank them, that which one is the first and the second. And suppose we have to, with this context, we have to collect the 10 ideas, then in the next few months, under this mentorship of the teacher, this idea, because every idea the students obviously develop this idea under the guidance of the teacher. So that is also scope for the student to interact with the teacher to certain shape of their idea, and that is also the part of the incubation. So that way the student and the teacher can involve with this incubation process. Now, the startup companies spend on an average 2 years in a business incubator. So, what are the benefits? So, first benefit is that these they can get the funding, the office space, and the equipment, etc., which is much less than the market rate. And another one, this incubator, when they have to, they also need to showcase that what are the facilities there within their incubator, in terms of the laboratory equipment, in terms of the space, in terms of the expert people, the teachers in their institution. And also that is obviously some of the USP of their incubator, that attract the more innovative ideas, not only within the institution but also the outside of the institution. They all the some of the startup, they are also interested to develop their ideas in their incubator. So that is the important part of this every incubator. Now the next part is that this fund for the entrepreneur. So there are the different stages, and we look pre-commercial stage. At this stage, that only the ideas are there, and basic research may have completed, but there is also the question of that the commercial capabilities are there of this product or not. So commercial capabilities are not proven, and also these are not the formal business entity. And here these and the incubators also, they are in the startup. Here the very nominal amount is required, and here sometimes for this seed funding for the early stage of entrepreneur, the incubator also can support for their development, for develop their ideas, to prove their ideas, whether the uniqueness by participating in the different competitions. So that time the incubator also sponsored them, because this is also showcase of their incubator, that yes, these are the number of ideas are submitted and their incubate or developed in their incubator, and these are also the research and the technological facilities within their campus. So these are the different phases. One is the startup, early growth. So early growth, there may be the enter of the angel investors or the venture capitalists. And then when we talk about the sustained growth, so that is the part when we can see there is a role of the bank and the financial institutions. Now, so up to this, we can see that what is the difference between the incubator and what is the and the accelerator also, and the different stages of the startup, and importance of the what are the important features of the incubator, Now we have to see that the incubator landscape of India. So we just divide into two parts. One is the pre 1991 and the post. So before globalization and after globalization. So in the pre 1991, we see the different programs was there. For example, the science and the technology entrepreneurship scheme, or the science technology based entrepreneurship development. And what are the objectives of this program? To create entrepreneur opportunities in lesser development district of India and the innovation. So, and also identify the local challenges and the issues and technological innovative entrepreneur intervention. So every time when we have to talk about this entrepreneurship development, it is the idea should be linked with the societal problem, and to nurture or to create or aware of this entrepreneurship activity. These are the basic objective of the different program. So it is basically a creation of the environment to give to provide the different information to the participant in the form of either the students or basically the students, that yes, these are things and that we have to use this technology. And then there are the certain case studies we can show that involve the student or initiate the student to think about. Unless and until this type of awareness program we should organize, so it is difficult to involve the students with this entrepreneur activity. So also find out what are the challenges. So currently what is the challenge of the society, and what we can do, what in the technology part, what are the development, what are the ideas we have to we can develop that will solve the societal problem. So after 1999, we see there are different entrepreneurship development centers, and this is the entrepreneur culture in the science and the technology institutions. And basically the also under during the after this 1991, we see science and technology entrepreneur park. And this basic provide, what is the objective of this part? To provide the physical and soft infrastructure to the entrepreneurs. So physical, that means there should be a environment where there is a facilities like lab and the other things they can interact with investors and how to show their ideas, and also their motivational parts, that is important. Next, we see the TBI, that is the technology business incubators, where we see it tries to support the entrepreneurs in higher education institutions. So every product and the services, there is important that how to nurture these things, and they are the higher education institutions. They are in between with the ideas and the commercialization of the product, and they deliver the or product or the services as per the for as per the requirement, or we can say they transfer the ideas into commercialization of the ideas. So if we can see this funding years of the incubators, so maximum we can see that the 2015, 16, 17, 18, and also the different incubator affiliated to the government schemes. So from there we can get the idea of the different government schemes that were basically used by the incubators. So major portion from the DST, that is the 38%, and the MSME 12%, then in auto innovation. Then this is the 9%, and these are there. So these are that only the abbreviations. And over the in this graph, we can see that over the 60% of the incubators are housed within the educational institutions. So educational, obviously, for the in compared to the all the institution, educational institution plays a very important role for development of this incubator. And here we can see that the role of the different governmental schemes that use by this educational institution for development of the incubator services. And other than the 40%, that is the businessless incubators, and some of the housed in the foundation setup, like the industry bodies. So some of the educational institutions also link up with some industry bodies like the Vardhani Foundation or Deshpande Foundations or FICI, etc. And the business parks set up by the various ministries. So in that way, um, these educational institutions can develop their incubators, and then the growth according to the different time period, we can see that maximum growth again in this 2016 and the 17. Now, what are the basic sectoral focus of the incubator? So we see that the major focus on the ICT, and then the agriculture is the next focus of the incubator. After that, engineering and the automation. But you can see that the 30% or almost the 30%, these are they basically the different multi-focused. So it is maybe the biotech or the social enterprise or the textile, education, finance related area. So the basically this is the data help us to find to understand that what should be the thrust area for this for or focus area, focus for the incubator. So it is from this diagram we can see the major focus from the ICT, and the also there is a multi-focus area we can see. Now uh, we can also say that the life of any startup can be divided into two parts, right? One is the before the product and after the product. So after product that the market fit or the idea development. So we just divide the startup activity into two different parts. Now this is the startup timeline. We see that this is the minimum viable product, MVP. Before that, there is a ideation and the concepting. These are important. So every incubation we can see there must be a vision and the mission. Then there is a they have to think about to develop this minimum viable product, and then find out whether it is fit with the market. So if it is fit, so it is also growing, and they can uh, get the growth. They can identify the opportunities in the market. They can identify the target market, and they can obviously there is a we can see the growth. And there may be the another where there be this product is not fit with the market, so obviously the death. So these are angel investors, venture capital, I have already seen. Now the startup incubators. Uh, so different program is basically designed to support the successful development of the startup by providing the business resources. For incubation, it is required that rigorously arrange the different business model development program. Also, this incubator must have a very good networking system or good net access and the computer facility. So in this incubator, there must be some financial advisor, good management team. Also, they have a knowledge about the access to the loans and the banks, access to the angel investor, venture capitalist, legal advisor. So that's why in the beginning I mentioned that for an incubator, it is required that there must be a permanent. incubator manager or team of managers must be there. They basically identify or develop all these activities. They are dedicatedly responsible for all these activities, that to link with those ideas with these banks and the loans sector or the funding agencies or the angel investors, venture capitalists, also the intellectual property rights. It's also important area for the startup. Now the startup failure. So we have an idea that up to 75% of the startup fail. But the reason is that because they do not have to identify these funding or the venture capital funding or the initial angel investors, and also they can waste too much time for the or too much money at the early stage of this. That means for the ideation and the concepting. And this company does not begin with the best people, so it is also required the successful people who are very much good knowledge in this field, and also does not produce something people want. That means they may have a good idea, good technology, but these are not fit with the market. So that is not matched with the people demand. And another another reason of failure, that they can hire too much people for a very short time period. Also, they are not identify the right type of the people and the right type of the skills also, and so does not produce a working product at a timely manner. So for a particular time period, what type of product is required is also need to be understand, and not able to successfully monetize the idea, and not also beaten out by the competitors. So these are the several reasons. Now we all know there is a valley of death, because there is a gap between the existing, that means the ideas, and the commercialization of the resources. So it is important that to overcome this valley of death, that opportunities in the market, and on the other hand the resources are available to link with this, to convert these resources these into commercialization. It is important, otherwise we most of the cases we see there is a failure of this new. So that is the value of the death. So we see that entrepreneurship and this commercialization, there is a academic startup or academic led startups, and the entrepreneurship, there is a funding, incubation, the structure, and business development network, and the commercialization, there must be some contract research. So these are the basic idea. So thank you. So now the question, anything anyone is want to ask.
Thank you, madam, for your wonderful presentation. No questions are there in the chat box till now. So, we are closing this session here.
Thank you, madam. And also, I'm thankful to the organizer for giving this opportunity. If any question you will mail me, I will answer.
Sure, no questions are there till now in the chat box. Will let you know, madam, if there isn't any question. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.